Verkiesingsplakate en advertensies is oral waar jy beweeg. Wie verdien kreatiewe meriete? By my in die ateljee is Peppy Maree van Joe Public en Bongani Chinkanda van HDI Youth Marketeers om meer hieroor te gesels. Gentlemen, welcome. Bongani, campaign posters are like the curtain raiser for, for elections. Do these posters on these polls actually work?
I think they do. In terms of that, they're quite effective. They reach a mass audience, which political parties are obviously targeting, and they're quite cost-effective in terms of execution. So, yes, they do.
Peppy, do you agree?
I also think, probably through years and years of seeing it, you almost associate it immediately with politics.
Yes.
You know, they own that space on the poll, so there's value in that as well.
So I want to have a look at the three main political parties, and this is in no means you endorsing a certain party. I think that's important to understand. Yeah, but let's look at their different at their different posters. So if you look at the EFF poster, the DA poster, or the ANC poster, for you guys, what clearly stands out between the three parties?
So for me, I think the EFF is very clear in terms of their messaging and sort of brand positioning. They've driven the land message since the ANC conference in 2017. They clearly know their positioning. I find the ANC are speaking to what they call a broad church of voters, and they're battling to find a single message, and that's what I find. And the DA, they're sort of like lost for me. There's multiple messaging that I don't understand. I don't know what you think.
No, I'm gonna steer away from politics, but I'm just going to look purely from a brand point of view. So this messaging, and I concur. You know, like messaging-wise, I think the Red Party is firmly ahead in the game from a brand point of view. And then I also just think from impact point of view, it's very simplistic, it's strong colours, and it's single, simple communication.
So in this case, obviously it's the three-party leaders on the posters. Two smiling, the EFF and Cyril and Julius smiling. Julius being quite... Oh, not Julius. Musi being incredibly... what do you call it? It's a series. It's not a friendly poster. Do you think there was purpose behind that?
I wouldn't want to make that guess. But one thing I did pick up, though, and again, I think, like in any brand, and I think this is what people don't understand, when you actually craft something and you put attention to detail into it, people pick unconsciously up the quality of the messaging. I do find the execution, again, in terms of just photography, I find that ANC's putting the president against white, I would have put him against black. I would have made a much more impactful photograph. So I think these choices were not always made to the best. And again, the Red Party leads in terms of communication. Let's see where it goes in the voting.
I want to talk about social media. That's been the focus of everybody at the moment. We're talking to a younger voter.
Yes.
How good were these political parties at engaging with voters on social media, Bongani?
Again, for me, consistency of messaging. So the EFF have been sending out their messaging since last year. The only thing that they've had to add this year is vote. I find that, again, the ANC are sort of grappling a bit in terms of especially targeting young people. They had, and I think later on you see the ad that sort of bombed with an influencer that they had used. So it's multiple messaging and trying to find where they are. And I think with a month to go, they're really not defined whether they're talking to young people, an older generation. Is there still nostalgia involved in it? And again, to Pepe's point, the Red Party is just consistently going on. The DA, again, kind of all over the place for me. We're still not trying to get what's going on there. Yeah.
I want to get to the TV ads, and we're going to play the ANC ad first, and after that I want us to quickly discuss that.
Cool.
Hi, my name is Ritabile Litoko, and I am a model. I've been on Satiskin, I've been on the cover of the Edgus mag, I've been in stores, like when you walk into a store, like you pretty much see my face is there. Sometimes I feel almost obliged to use the skills and the resources that I have learned along the way to try and help the youth, empower themselves, because the youth is the country's future. The government could end poverty by working on things like the unemployment rate, education, health, social security. I think we...
Bongani, it's social influencers. It's a hot topic at the moment. Do you think in this case the social influencing worked?
I don't think it did, especially for young people. There's hot issues on the ground, fees must fall, huge inequality issues, and you find that sort of like even the way the photography is done and the way the videography is done, it's very much sort of like a privileged look. And when social media responded was to say, how do you use such a person to communicate the battles of young people? So for me, it was sort of a fail in
what
that.
Do you think?
So I'm going to steer clear of politics, but I have a very strong view. You know, people, so if you're out there and you've got a business or brand, I would advise find the purpose to your brand, build your strategy around that, and then your messaging around that. And I think I find that's lacking.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like the same message is coming across, but I want to have a look at the DA TV campaign, which I felt is slightly different to this, but let's have a look.
Cause Skele Africa. May her glory be lifted high.
Hear us.
Hoor ons gebede.
Bless us.
Protect us, you children.
Morena, boloka.
Setjhaba sa heso.
Intervene.
And end all conflicts.
Pepe, completely different ad, completely different angle as well. What do you think worked in this case?
It's a tough question, man. You're putting me on the spot. I'm a little bit confused. I'll tell you why. I saw another DA commercial about 3 months ago that was completely the opposite. And again, so I'm finding there's too much use of tactics, you know, trying to tap into the wrong emotions. So I'm not being hyper. I'm going to rather just take it back to branding. I think it's critical for marketers and for advertisers to understand that you need to have a strong single-minded point of view, and rather connect emotionally based on that point of view. And I do find it's missing there. So I'm at the moment struggling to connect with this brand based on the communication.
Sure. Bongani?
So building on Pepe, I think there's an issue with market segmentation. They really haven't segmented their market.
It feels also broad churchy, hey?
Yes. So for me, it's like Coca-Cola. You can only be a Coca-Cola once you've been in the market for a long time. I think by trying to target everybody, the message gets lost.
I agree. Let's quickly have a look at the final opposition, which is the EFF.
Sure.
Sengineminyaka eminingi ngitshala imifino kodwa soloko abakhona ama-supermarket amakhulu angisakwazi ukuthi ngisiphilise ngoba basithathela ibhizinisi angazi ukuthi ithemba lami lizovelaphi.
Re kgathetse ke batho ba dithendara ba re patala tšhelete e nyane mola bona ba etsa tšhelete e ntši re hloka meshomo ya mannete seo se tla re fa tshepo.
Kudala ndifuna umsebenzi xa ndingafuna ulala nabo bafuna imali entshontsho ngoba ndilazi ukuthi ithemba lami lizovelaphi.
Bongani, in this case, do you think it worked?
So I'll use an example of Nike. Nike is very single. It's got a very single message. They constantly, whatever they do in terms of communication, that's what they stick to. This is sort of like watching a Nike ad. They've got 3 points that they want to communicate to their target market, and they're sticking to it. And for me, it's a great piece of messaging.
Yes. So, Pepe, in this case, the overall message was hope. Do you think that that's a strong message to communicate?
I think it is, and I also think they touch on critical issues. And again, that's why I'm saying it's so interesting. I find myself, as a white South African, I think if the Red Party was backing education, I'll vote for them. You know, because they are so single-minded behind what they believe, and they're putting it out there to the market. So let's see where it falls.
Bongani, what's the overall lesson for even an entrepreneurial business out there, based on all these campaigns and all these messages? What do you think that is?
I think market segmentation is important. Pick your market and stick to it, and single-minded messaging. Because once you drive it home, there's a point that your market will get it, and they'll vote, or they'll purchase, or they'll respond, or they'll engage with you. Yeah.
Pepe?
I would say, as always, my rhetoric is find greater purpose. Give people something greater to believe in, and steer away from bashing your opposition. In branding, we don't do that because you give airtime to your opposition when you shouldn't be.
Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Indien jy belangstel daarin om na die volle advertensies te kyk, gaan gerus na ons sosiale media platforms. Van hierdie maand af sal dit die aanhoudende stygings van elektrisiteit, brandstof en ander verbruikersgoedere aan jou sak voel. Ons neem 'n vinnige breek en gesels net hierna met Karla Oberholze van Debt Save oor wat jy kan doen. Bly waar jy is.